To the Republicans, and one of my favorites, Congressman Ron Paul from Texas. Congressman Paul, Anthony Weiner says he doesn't think there will be a deal because he believes John Boehner is too beholden to Tea Party interests on issues like Planned Parenthood and public broadcasting. Do you share that analysis?
Probably not, but I've been predicting there won't be a shutdown, but I've also said I wouldn't bet any money on it. But I'm not too excited about either side of that argument. I think it's all partisanship, and they're not dealing with the real issue. And I think you even mentioned that we're only tinkering with a couple billion.
Yeah,
we're really dealing with, the national debt this year is going up $2 trillion.
Thank you.
So we have to change our attitude about what government should be doing. And, as a strict constitutionalist, I don't endorse most of our domestic spending, but I don't set out to attack that if I'm going to work out of this, get us to work out of it. I would go after the foreign stuff. And that's why I think the foreign policy is important. I think that we have a coalition of some Republicans and a lot of Democrats who think we spend too much money overseas and we shouldn't be expanding our wars. So that is a place where the American people should all join in. We're building an infrastructure in Afghanistan because we blew up Afghanistan and Iraq, and I think that's where we should really start to save. But what I'm concerned about is this is not dealing with the problem, and it's a problem I've talked about for a long time. Our deficits are huge, and we depend on monetizing this debt. And when you do that...
Explain that for people. They're just sort of trying to get into the conversation.
Okay, both Republicans and Democrats really are responsible for this huge deficit financing. So if only the market could buy that debt, interest rates would go up and the Congress would have to quit spending. But the Fed comes in and buys it and keeps interest rates low. But eventually that turns into price inflation, in which I think you've observed already today a tremendous amount. Gold soaring again today.
I mean, look at all soft commodities. All day long.
Yeah, and now that is a tax on the people. Literally the people are paying, their standard of living is going to go down. And I'm also predicting, and I think we've seen signs of it, interest rates are going to go up. And so this will make the budgetary argument of a few $billion nothing compared to the calamity that we're facing. And it's no easy task to get this under control.
At the same time, you seem to be among the very few people, Republican or Democrat, who's willing to come in at least to a public theater like this one and engage in a conversation about the actual problem, which is the I don't know whether you want to call it inefficiency or corruption or manipulation, whether it's the tax code and the Swiss cheese there, the lack of real transparency and choice or competition in health care, the nature of our foreign policy, our banking system, our energy policy. These are the core issues that are laying the American people with debt. Why are there so few of you? Why is the debate not run by more people like you that are debating trillion-dollar issues that we actually have, as opposed to this pro wrestling we get with the nonsense on $30 billion from you or $50 billion from me?
Well, politically, it's unpopular, especially if you'd been talking this way like I have for 10, 15 years when we should have been dealing with it. So this means you would have had to cut out the military-industrial complex and the special interests here at home. We have a system of corporatism. We don't have a system. Sometimes I don't like to condemn capitalism for the problems that we have today. But we have corporatism, and you know as well as anybody how the big guys got bailed out, and the little guys didn't get bailed out and compounded our problems. It wasn't the people who were giving us honest services and honest goods. It was the people who were ripping us off with the derivatives market, get into trouble, and then the taxpayers get stuck with that. That's what I resent.
Yeah, and they're still doing it. I'm out of time, Congressman, but before I go, I got to say, just as an observer, a relatively new voice in the political conversation these past couple of years, I look at the Republican field, I see Palin, Bachmann, Pawlenty, Mitt Romney, Donald Trump, I think, is talking about it. Some interesting people, some smart people in that mix. There's no way any of them are better than you for the Republican nomination. Let's just be seriously. No, I mean, when you look at your articulation of the actual, I'm not saying your answers are all right. I don't know whether your answers are all right or not, but I do know the way that you frame the debate around the issues that this country faces is the most honest of almost any politician that I deal with. Do you not have an obligation at this point to run for president?
Well, some have argued that case, and I'm thinking about it, but I haven't made that decision. But I thank you for the compliment.
Well, listen, I'm going to harass you on this one because we need the debate. The debate, you have the framing of the debate, as you know, is everything, and you do that so effectively, Congressman. Thank you for the time.
Appreciate it.